Depressive milk ejection reflex is a condition causing a surge of negative emotions before the milk ejection reflex, or letdown, in a lactating woman. The many mothers suffering from DMER think they are alone. I thought it was just me. I never mentioned it to anyone but my husband. I thought it might sound crazy. Those feelings were awful and made worse by the fact I couldn't figure out why breastfeeding was making me so depressed. I looked and looked for an explanation and didn't find much. No one ever mentioned it as something that could go along with breastfeeding, so I felt weird bringing it up with anyone. I seriously thought I was the only one. I never knew there were other women out there who suffered with this. DMER presents slightly differently for each mother, but the feelings have common threads that each DMER mother can relate to. It's an intense flood of negative emotions that I actually can't even piece together into one thought. It's just, everything's horrible, and I feel so gross and sad. Sometimes I feel like I might have to throw up because that hollow feeling in my stomach was so strong and intense. I felt depressed while breastfeeding, which made me feel so weird because everyone says you're supposed to feel so loving when you breastfeed. Well, I just felt dark. I used to have something that I called a reverse orgasm. It was like I experienced every possible negative emotion all at once with letdown, and it was overwhelming and not exactly pleasant. I would get this feeling of what am I doing here? Almost questioning my whole position in life and asking myself if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Then the feeling would go away. I get a hollow feeling in the pit of my stomach. The feeling travels upwards and forms a lump in my throat, at which time my eyes well up with tears and I feel incredibly awful. Sometimes I just feel like I want to get up and shake it off or just run away. It's a terrible, sick feeling of nausea and total disgust. I feel like I want to just curl up into a ball. The thought of food makes me want to hurl. Whenever I start breastfeeding, I suddenly feel really sad and empty, and I think to myself, what is wrong? And then I realize, oh, I'm just breastfeeding again. During that time before letdown, I do feel like nothing will ever be right or good again. It reminds me of homesickness or feeling from childhood. DMER is not postpartum depression. Mothers with DMER are only affected before the milk release, and they feel good in between letdowns. I had no depression otherwise. In fact, I was the happiest I had ever been in my life after having my son. When I had a letdown, I went through this whole, I am calling the doctor first thing tomorrow to find out what's wrong. Then I'd feel totally fine, almost excited. I never did call. After the letdown, I was usually left feeling happy to be feeding my baby. Mothers are hurting. Mothers are weaning. I wanted to do child-led weaning, but I ended up weaning my son because I could not function with the cycle of feelings that nursing him caused. I started to wean because the feelings that I got while nursing were negatively impacting my life and the interactions with others. One of the reasons I decided to wean was because I was feeling this horrible sickness and these negative feelings. I experienced DMER very acutely, and it became so problematic that I had to quit nursing early. I weaned because I didn't like the way breastfeeding made me feel. But most mothers with DMER don't know what is causing their feelings. DMER is still in the dark. For those that have found their feelings have an explanation, Knowledge has helped the healing. Hearing about DMER has really helped me know I'm not repressing some traumatic incident that's causing these feelings, and these feelings don't indicate some sort of bonding issue with my baby. Since hearing it happens not only to other women, but it has a name too, I can deal with it better, as I'm not wondering why, but thinking, oh, there it is. My milk will be here, and then the feeling will go away very soon. I'm so happy and relieved to see there are lots of women that this